Member for Kamloops Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, time and again, as the official opposition, unfortunately, in this House, we have to be the voice for people that no longer have that voice. Be it when a child is killed under government care, we bring those cases forward to this House. The answers back from the ministers are repeatedly, I can't talk about that, it's in front of the courts. When we talk to this government and bring forward cases of seniors that are killed in care, the answers back from the ministers are, I can't talk about that. It's before the courts. It wouldn't be appropriate. Apparently, those ministers don't want to compromise things going on in the courts. One can assume that's partly the direction of the government and the Attorney General that's provided that advice. Over the last few days in this House, the opposition has been canvassing the complete collapse of our mental health systems and systemic problems in mental health services in British Columbia. The Premier has chosen to try to deflect away and focus in on solely the horrific events of what unfolded on Saturday. And yes, it was murder, Mr. Speaker. The Premier thinks we're afraid to say that word in this House. We're not. But I will point out that the Premier has held very strong opinions on what should happen in this case that's before the courts. However, yesterday he says, so I'll ask the member and others to reserve judgment about what happened and let that process play out. Now, Mr. Speaker, the Premier is not just any person with an opinion. He's the Premier of the province. He's also a lawyer. He's the former head of the BC Civil Liberties Union, and he's also a former Attorney General. So the Premier can't honestly stand in this House and think that his opinion would be considered the same as the people that sit around and have a coffee at a Tim Hortons or an A&W talking about the world events going on in the day. Simply doesn't hold true. So a simple question to the Premier, based on his ability and his want to weigh in on very serious matters in front of the legal system, especially with an unknown charting of where this government is going with involuntary care or not, the Mental Health Act or not. There's actually mental health agencies now wondering if the Premier is weighing in on issues like this so forcefully. Has the Premier and the Attorney General now changed direction, and will ministers now be allowed to actually talk about very serious, critical issues going on in front of their ministries that are in front of the courts, or is that right solely reserved for the Premier to voice opinions?
Premier.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Members well aware there's actually legal prohibitions on talking about children who are in care. They were brought in when the Leader of the Opposition sat around the cabinet table in the previous government. The provisions are in place to ensure the protection of the privacy of children and their families. Now, for the tragedy at the Lapu Lapu Festival, I struggle to understand the position of the opposition, because my opinion is that the man who made the decision to drive a vehicle into a crowd of children, parents and seniors, volunteers, kill them, is facing 8 charges of murder. It's my opinion he's a murderer. It's my opinion he should spend the rest of his life in custody. Now, I have a high opinion of the independence of our courts, their ability to hear the evidence and reach the conclusions that they're going to reach. I'll respect whatever the decision is. I think he should spend the rest of his life in prison, Honourable Speaker. Now, I respect the decision of the courts, whatever it will be, but it will not change my opinion that this man did a despicable thing, did the most hateful thing, that he ruined the work of thousands of people and traumatized thousands more, that he stole children from parents, parents from children, and that he should spend the rest of his life in jail. If that is a point of controversy in this House, between our side and their side, then so be it. I will stand up for the Filipino community. I will stand up for the victims, and I will stand up for every right-minded, morally clear British Columbian and say that man should spend the rest
Member-
of his goddamn life in jail.